Dido, Magic in the morning, 8:36. There goes the sun behind the clouds again. It's been doing this all morning. It peeks out for a little bit, and it goes back behind the clouds. But it doesn't matter. It's gorgeous. It's spring, and things are coming to life. Today, your May 11th is a Tuesday. That means it's time for our weekly chat with Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency, Portland Street in St. Jay. Good policies. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. Before we went on there, you asked about my son, and I meant to say thank you for asking. It was a great deal that you remembered. That's awesome.
Well, Ethan's a great little guy. And of course, I miss Charlie, too. But so do we want to share this with our listeners here, an update from our scare last week?
Yeah, so I'm not hiding anything because there's nothing to hide, really. It's just the fact of the matter, right? So my son, who's 7 years old, contracted. He was identified as a close contact where he goes to school about 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and tested positive for COVID last week. So kind of a bit of a scare in our house for our 7-year-old to have COVID. He had some of the symptoms, the high temp, the cough, the shortness of breath, and the things tasting funny. But he's recovering well, and he's looking forward to not having to hang out with just mommy and daddy after a 2-week stint of being home. So if he's still symptom-free tomorrow, he gets to go back to school on Thursday. So
that's awesome. Maybe, I know you got your headset on, but maybe you can shout out and tell everybody that he's okay, because COVID's quite a big deal. That little fella's a pretty strong guy right now.
Ethan, tell everybody how you're feeling right now. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling great. All right. I love it.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. We were worried about that all week. That's awesome.
Yeah, it hit us, as any parent, I mean, it's going to, one thing to have your 20-plus-year-old, a 30-year-old child, having this, but for anybody to have it, but to have your little one have it and be told that, you need to try to stay away from your 7-year-old. It's like, how do you do that? Come on. So,
right.
But it's all working out really well, so.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, so our subject matter this morning, of course, I know nothing about because I'm not in the world of insurance, and I'm sure there are a lot of listeners about that don't know anything about equity billing. What in the world is this?
Well, see, I threw that at you because it was a great prompt to talk about billing with insurance. Every insurance company has kind of their own billing methods and systems, and one of the things that we've seen some companies do over the past couple of years, one including Cooperative Insurance out of Middlebury, Vermont, as they innovate and create new programs and systems, sometimes we see changes in their billing systems. And one of the things we've seen more of recently is equity billing. And what is that? Well, let's talk about if you're paying a payment plan on your insurance. So maybe you're paying quarterly or semi-annually. Semi-annually, you wouldn't see an impact with the equity billing because of the way that does, because you're paying 50% now, 50% in 6 months. But with some of the other ones, equity billing is basically having you pay 25, 30, or 40% more, or 40% of the premium versus the normal, what you would think would be 25% if you're paying for installments. Basically, it's having you pay more up front, which is a shock to the system for a lot of folks. Now, Co-op, when they went to their equity billing system, they thought it's one of those things where it sounds really good. That's the right thing to do. And then when it's implemented and then impacts people, companies will sometimes be, let's throw that back up on the wall and take another look. And we'll probably see equity building, at least with Cooperative, going away and going back to a more traditional, properly split for installment plan. But every company, Jeff, has their own wacky methods and ways of doing installments. And I think that's a great thing to discuss this morning, that there's just so many options available.
Well, I deal with Progressive myself, and it's not like I pay a fictional number here, $75.14 every other month in installments. It varies. And is that the kind of thing that you're talking about? And the only reason I ask this is because it makes me wonder, is there like, the beginning of the payment cycle, do they factor in, office costs, paperwork costs, stuff like that? Or how do they do it?
So it's truly just the rate that they're doing for the policy itself, and they're saying, well, if we do an equity bill and get more up front, that's just going to be a better overall financial situation for the company to be able to sustain. So it's interesting. I don't know that I should necessarily give the methods, because I think every company has their own the myth behind the madness scenario, right? I think they all have their own. So if I was to give you one, I could be wrong on 20 other ones. So, but it's just the way companies do it, and it's always going to vary. Some companies, offer, I'll give you the example. The most common payment methods are paying in full, paying 2 installments a year, paying 4 installments a year, or paying monthly. And we see increasingly companies that allow you to pay monthly do not want to do invoicing. They want you to be paying that automatically out of a checking account, an automatic withdrawal, which some people hate, some people love. And then we see other companies that are doing 9 installments, 10 installments. Some companies, and this is actually one of the other reasons why I thought this might be good to talk about, Jeff, is that there are some companies, and when I say some, that usually leads to all, because everyone follows each other here. But some companies are now offering automatic payments off of a debit or a credit card. And one of the cool things about that is they're treating it just like if you're paying EFT, where many times they're taking any installment fee that you would normally be charged if you were breaking up your payments. They waive that because you're paying automatically. The company's not invoicing you. You're just paying automatically on a credit card. And then the people who like to get points or cash back on their credit cards love that because they're earning that. So, if you have a certain payment plan that you have on your policy and you want to consider another one, just talk to your agent and find out, and you'll probably be surprised at how many options exist.
Well, and that's something we always talk about during our good policy chats. And folks, again, with us, Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance, Portland Street, St. Johnsbury. Back a couple of minutes ago, Mike, you mentioned that you couldn't really give a payment scenario for every insurance company. So that's why you have the conversation with your agent.
Right. One of the weird ones we've seen over time is companies that offer a 4-payment plan, and the second anyone hears a 4-payment plan, they automatically assume once every 3 months you'll have an installment. Some companies just don't do that. Some companies you're doing every 2 months. It's wacky, and it's good to have the knowledge up front so that you're not surprised. So having that conversation ahead of time with your agent, or reading the notice that is indicating that you may have a change in your payment schedule or methods is always good to do when you get your renewal. So something to think about so that you're not caught off guard with your checkbook when things happen.
Well, and of course it'll vary with a personal account to a business account and so on and such forth. So if folks would like more information on this, Mike, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Sure, you can give us a call. 748-5224 is our office number. Realize that the way things are right now, we're a little short-staffed with people in and out of the office because we are still closed to the public at the office, but we are staffed and social distancing and wearing masks and all the above. But so you can give us a call there. We're located on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury. Online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
All right, and I'm trusting that you'll shoot me a text message or an email to give us an update on little Ethan and the COVID progress.
Oh yeah, and Jeff, and just realize that he knows how to play this. So he has also been saying, "Hey, Dad, can you buy this for me?" And if I say no, he goes, "But Dad, I have COVID," as if it's a rite of passage for him to now get something. So he knows how to play the system, sir.
Well, I read something yesterday in our studio prep here, reasons to treat yourself, and one of them is that if you're sick or don't feel good. So I'm going to side with Ethan on this one, and that'll bid us.
He knows. He's smart.
We'll bid you a farewell on that. We'll chat next week, okay?
Awesome. Be well, Jeff. Thanks.
You too, Mike. See you later, Ethan. Good Policies with Magic in the Morning, Tuesday mornings with Barrett Insurance. Music from Ingrid Michaelson and Zane.